All right, welcome to Sembley. Let's take a look around the system here. What we're looking at right now is our dashboard, giving you a snapshot of everything that you have going on within Sembley. From there, I will jump over to our submissions page, where we're going to have all the various submissions that you have created containing your Accord forms and your sub apps. The names here are customizable. You will see the access, which will be the contact from that company you have shared an intake with. We have customizable statuses here, so you can track things as they move along the assembly line. Then on the far right, we're going to have the progress bar. So as that fills up, that means questions in your intake are being answered by the agent, the client, the AI tools imported from integrations. And if you are going to share questions with your client, you're going to get notified in a few different ways. One will be a pop-up over here in our notification center, letting you know when someone has started working on something or have submitted that back to you. You'll also get an email letting you know when that's ready for review, and then a pop-up next to that submission. From there, I'm going to jump over to our insureds page where we're going to have our clients stored. When you go to add a new insured, you'll be able to import them from your CRM, your agency management system, or add them in manually just by entering some information to start off. But let's jump into a client profile here, where we're going to have an overview of their information. You'll be able to see all of their contact data, company info, and then various different data points. So if I want to look at the different premises this company has, I can take a look here, make changes on the client profile, and they will update in any intakes. We also have the submissions that were created for this client as well. When you go to create a new submission, you would hit new submission, and you can name this whatever you would like, but I'm going to jump into one that I had set up for today. And the first page you're going to see when you open up a new submission is going to be prompting you to add in your forms. So I've already thrown in a few different forms for this intake, and what Sembley is going to do is it will take all of the questions from all 6 of these forms I threw in, we'll combine them into one singular intake. Now, when that's filled out, it's going to populate all those forms. Now, I'm sure as you agents know out there, between these forms, there's going to be a lot of repeat questions, but Sembley being built on a single source of truth will eliminate the need to actually answer these questions more than once. We'll just need you to give us that answer one time, and it will populate that across all your forms at the same time. Down here is going to be our library of forms where we'll have all the Accords and sub apps that you need. You can filter by the carrier that you are looking for. You can filter by the category of the form or by the type. But jumping over to the intake, the first page is going to have our document AI tool. Now, this tool is going to allow you to take any documents you have in relation to that client, drop them into our system. The AI will read through that, find any data on there that can be used on the intake, and then pull that directly in, populating that onto your intake and onto your forms. I threw a few sample documents in here. We were able to import a decent amount of data from those just to end up right on the form. Now, a couple of tools that we have added in addition to that are going to be our company intelligence. So when we click the stars next to this company name, we're going to pull some basic information on that company that you can then import onto your intake. Another is going to be our property intelligence. So when we're hovering over an address, we're going to see these stars pop up again. And when you click that, we are going to pull this property data for you that you can just import directly into the intake again. Now, a few ways you can customize these intakes, one of those being that you can add a note onto a question to give your client some guidance on what they should fill out. So we can add a note in here. Another option is you have certain questions that you want to have pre-populated with certain answers. You can save a default response here in Sembley, and they will populate onto any intake on any form you work on moving forward. Now, when you go to share your intake, you'll have a couple of options on how you can do that. So one option would be like cherry picking a handful of questions. We call that flagging. So if I want to flag a few questions for my client to review, I can flag those. And then when I go to share my intake, I will check off only share flagged questions, so the client will receive a condensed intake with only the questions I chose. The other option is sending over a more comprehensive intake, but hiding certain questions. So a question like how frequently do you expect policy to be audited? Probably not one we're going to send to the client, so we can hide that from our intake, and when that hides once, it will hide that across all of the intakes that you work on moving forward. Then when you go to share your intake, you can select your contact, and we're going to have a shareable link that you can copy and send out through email or text. There's going to be a client portal invite for clients who prefer a password-protected portal to work in, and then there's an email that you can send right through Sembley. We have some sample messaging in here. You can take this out, type in whatever you'd like. Then when the email sends through Sembley, it will show us if it is coming from your email. And we have customizable email signatures and automated reminders that you can set up as well. Now, once everything is filled out by the agent, the client, the AI tools, we can jump to our forms, and we'll see all of the answers that were provided are going to populate right here onto our forms. Now, once everything is ready, you can share this intake with your client for signature by clicking Sign, and that will create the signature packet. And from here, you're going to be able to customize what documents you want to be signed. So I can remove a couple of the document AI documents I had in there. I could also add in a document. So let's say I wanted to add a BOR in to be signed alongside the Accord forms. I can do that and then select my contact and share that for signature. Now, once it is sent out for a signature, you can track what is going on with that here within the Signature Packets tab. You'll be able to see updates on when that was signed, when it was viewed, and then you'll also be able to download that or send it to the carrier once it is complete. The other feature I want to show you is our custom intakes, where you can build out really whatever intake you would like. Now with these intakes, there's a high level of customization. That's why we call them custom intakes. So you can add in your own color scheme, your own branding, your own logo. You can hyperlink your calendar or your website here. You can even embed videos into the intake as well. And there are going to be a variety of questions you can add in. So we have short answer, long answer, multiple choice, icon, address, multiple field, and then there's data validation questions as well, like phone number, dollar amount, date, and email. And these are custom questions where you can really type out whatever you'd like. We also have our question bank that opens up to all the questions that we have across all the forms here in Sembley. And the great thing about these questions is any of the information gathered using our question bank questions will then populate onto your Accord forms and SUP apps moving forward. You can also build in conditional logic with these questions or make certain questions required. And this can be shared in a few different ways. You could share it through a shareable link. You can embed this onto your website or even put it into an intake alongside an Accord form or a SUP app. And when you are sending this over to a prospect, when they fill out that information, if they don't have a profile in Sembley, they're going to populate in as an inbound for you.